Hello my dear students, welcome to our channel KCYC. Today we are going to learn first chapter, that is gravitation of science paper 1. Hello students, today we are going to learn about gravitation, which will be your first chapter. Gravitation, as you know, was discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. Generally, gravitation is attraction between two objects with a particular mass. Mass should be there. Like for example, here in this image, you will be able to see Earth as a mass and another a round, we can say, let's suppose any heavenly body. So there will be an attraction, an attractive pull between each other. That doesn't mean that this is not pulling this or this is only pulling this because it's bigger size. They both are pulling each other, and how they are pulling each other with respect to the distance between them, that we will be discussing in the further part of the chapter. Before going into gravitation much more elaborately, you know, gravitation is like if you throw a ball in air, it will come down. Why it is? Because the earth is pulling everything down. That means earth is attracting whatever thing is going up. That means the gravitation is just attracted toward the center. Attracted toward the center. When I say about the center, it means centripetal. It is something related to centripetal. So that's why we are moving on to this next part, centripetal acceleration. Now, you know, Sun and Earth both are actually in orbit. Sun is orbiting the center of the Milky Way and Earth is orbiting as Sun will be the center. Now we have to understand that there is a particular orbit for Earth. That's why we have 365 days in a year. That means 365 days will be taken by Earth to complete one revolution. So due to this movement, although it is not a circular path, we just imagine as a circular path for better understanding as of now. So due to this circular movement, there is an attraction between Sun and Earth, and also due to some other forces is pulling it back. Now that's all a much detailed part that not required for you to learn it. Centripetal acceleration is generally a force experienced while having a uniform circular motion. You will be looking into your textbook. I hope you have everybody has a textbook with them. If you look at page number 2 of your textbook, you will be seeing a lady rotating a stone with a string tied. So this string is allowing the stone to rotate, but it's also allowing the stone not to go throwing away. Like for example, the rotating string is not allowing the stone to just go far away because the stone is pulled by the string. Okay, so that is centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration is an acceleration experienced while in a uniform circular motion. It always points towards center of rotation. Towards center of rotation. Repeat, towards center of rotation. It is perpendicular to the linear velocity, which has magnitude. So with this, we are going for much more higher level of this statement. Since we already know what is a centripetal acceleration, it was Johannes Kepler. He was a mathematician and astronomer. He found out something very much fascinating with respect to astronomical body. So Kepler made these laws. There are 3 laws actually. So these laws very much interesting. So let us go to the first law. Law of orbit. Every planet revolves in elliptical orbit around the Sun, with Sun situated at one of the focus of the ellipse. So this is ellipse. What is generally an ellipse is if you cut a cone in an inclined way, that means thoda teda, if you cut it, you get a shape of an ellipse. So this ellipse is in this shape, that is, this is the sun and this will be the earth. It will revolve around like this. Look at the cursor. It is not a circle where it won't revolve like this, it will revolve like this. That means in this position, the earth is very much far away from the sun, and in this position, earth is very much near to the sun. And that's why when we are very much far away, we get a winter season, and when we are very much closer to the sun, we will get a summer season. That is actually the main idea behind it. How we are getting different seasons due to the revolution. It's not due to the rotations. Only rotations make day and night. The revolution makes the seasons generally. So Kepler said that elliptical orbit is the orbit surrounded by generally by all the planet, where sun will be at one of the foci. That is, there are two focus. That is two focus. One is this focus, one is this focus. Either it will be here or here, doesn't matter. But as for the law, every planet revolves in elliptical orbit around the sun, with sun situated at one of the focus of the ellipse. Like for example, this was Earth. If you can say, if you say about Mars, it will be somewhere over here. It will move around like this again. Jupiter, it can move like this, very much far away, a bigger elliptical orbit. So this is the first law. It's very important to learn this law. You have learned by heart. So moving on to the second law, law of equal areas. The law of equal areas states that any planet sweep equal areas in equal interval of time. Like that is, a radius vector drawn from sun to any planet sweeps equal area in equal interval of time. This is called law of areas, or second law of Kepler. Kepler's second law or law of area. Either in board examination they may ask you Kepler's second law or law of equal areas. In both the cases you need to give the correct answer. With the next figure, it must be much more illustrated. I'll elaborate it how it works on. Dear students, look at the figure. Kepler's law of equal areas. Like for example, as I already told you, this will be an ellipse where the sun is one of the foci, and this will be any planet. It can be XYZ planet. You name the planet, any planet. So the time taken by the planet, very carefully you have to look at the cursor. The time taken by the planet to reach from here to here will be same from any part. That is, here to here, the area, this blue color area will be same with respect to this orange color area, anywhere from here to here at equal interval of time. Like from time t1 to t2, same area, t1 to t2, same area at equal interval of time. That is, the area swept by a planet will be equal at equal interval of time. That is Kepler's law of equal areas. That is the second law. Moving on to the third law, the law of period. The square of period of revolution of the planet around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of major axis elliptical orbit. In your textbook, it is given in some much more very simple way. I tell you, you just refer to the textbook. In your textbook, it is given as square of period of revolution. It is in page number 3, my dear students. The square of its period of revolution around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of mean distance of a planet from the sun. So that is the Kepler's third law. So all these three laws is very much important. You have to learn these. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to clear, because these small laws come for one marks each. They may ask any 3 laws and give you 3 marks, or they will ask you any one of the law. Okay, very carefully you have to learn it. We're moving on to the next topic. So here is the next part, Newton's law of gravitation. Okay, remember the first figure I showed you? There is an earth and there was another body upside. Okay, now just remember that figure. Now just listen carefully. Every particle of matter attract every other particle with a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses. Directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. So here this is a force. Like for example, this is a body with small m mass and this is a body with the capital M as mass, and the distance between them is r. So the force is directly proportional to the product of their mass, that is m1 or small m into m larger, that is a capital M, and inversely proportional. Inversely means it will come into the denominator, that is inversely proportional to square of distance between them, that is r square. Now you will say that what is this G? Actually, if you look into the textbook, you will be able to find it. F is directly proportional to m1 into m1 into m2 upon r square. This is just for illustration, where G will be the universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. This Newton's law of gravitation is very much important. Kindly by heart it, learn it, thorough it, and also learn this equation also, which there in your textbook. So with the Newton's law of gravitation, we are moving on further with this part of this chapter. It will be, if a planet is revolving around Sun in a circular orbit with a uniform circular motion. Obviously, what will happen if a planet is moving around a Sun in a centripetal force will be taking place over there. As I already told you, what is a centripetal force? So it is given by force given by F equal to mv square upon r, where m will be the mass of the planet and v is the speed and r is its distance from the Sun. The speed of the planet can be expressed in terms of period of revolution t as it follows. How it will be expressed? Very carefully you have to listen this. This part is there in your textbook. Just go through it as I am telling you. The distance traveled by a planet in one revolution, that is a perimeter, that is entire perimeter. Like for example, if this is a circle, you have to go entire. That is the time taken by a planet to complete one revolution. That is, one revolution will be perimeter, nothing but it is 2 pi r. Where r will be the distance of a planet from the Sun. Like for example, r will be the radius. The Sun is the middle. We will have a radius, and a time taken by the revolution is t. So v equal to distance traveled by time taken. Does everybody know that speed is equal to distance traveled by time taken? You see, distance upon time will be get speed. Same thing will be applied over here. Distance travel can be given by 2 pi r upon t. T will be the time taken. So just substituting the value of this v with respect to 2 pi r. Got it? V square, you are just substituting the value 2 pi r square. Rest everything remains the same, only v square is changing. Now just simplifying it, 4m pi square r upon t square. How did you got the multiplying and dividing by r square? Very carefully, when you multiply and divide by r square, this r square will just this get cancelled. Ultimately you will get t. So again, simplifying further, we are able to understand the Kepler's third law. That is, just we are going on to the Kepler's third law, where we already told you time period will be directly proportional to the cube of mean distance between them. So ultimately this will be the constant. F will be equal to 4m pi square and k will be constant. That is 4m pi square by k will be constant. Rest everything, that is only what is everything, nothing is there. It's only r square left. So thus Newton concludes that the centripetal force. So the centripetal force, which is force acting on the planet, is responsible for circular motion. It is the main responsible fellow for the circular motion. It is due to the centripetal force. That's why the planet is revolve. If the centripetal force is not there, it won't revolve. Understood? This derivation is very important. Next part is next part is gravity acceleration, that is earth gravitational acceleration pull. Okay, how we can understand it works on here. We are also finding out the acceleration due to gravity values. So earth exerts a gravitational force, very important. Earth exerts a gravitational force to any object. You name the object, it is near to the surface of the earth, you will find out this gravitational acceleration, due to which you are getting the weight also. Because you're feeling your weight because of this acceleration. Okay, acceleration put on by you, but put on you by the earth. So generally we can calculate g by using universal law of gravitation. This everybody know, that F equal to g m by small m r square, where m will be the mass of the earth and F equal to mg, force equal to m, that is mass into acceleration. That is Newton's second law, mass into acceleration. From 3 and 4 we can conclude that is F both are same, we are just equating 3 and 4. So ultimately when we equate it, this get cancelled, and what will get, g equal to gm by r square. This both small m get cancelled. If the object is situated on surface of the earth, r will be equal to this radius of the earth, thus the value of g on surface earth remain like this. Okay, unit of SI unit of g will be meter per second square, because g is nothing but acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration, when we say about acceleration, is the normal value of acceleration, normal unit of acceleration, meter per second square. The mass of the radius of earth is this 624 kg, and the diameter, the radius will be 6.4 × 10⁶. Ultimately putting this value, you will get 9.77 meter per second square. That is the value of g will be 9.77 meter per second square. This acceleration depends only mass and radius of the earth. So acceleration due to gravity is given at any point, can be just for all object, whether it is a big object, whether it is small object. Whether you push an elephant from a tower, it will fall in same acceleration, or whether you put a 1 kg of a shot put. If you put an elephant of 4 ton, even if you put a shot put of 1 kg, both will come in the same acceleration. So both will land. Like if you put these both elephant and a shot put together, both of them will land at same time, because the acceleration applied by earth on these two bodies will remain same. Okay, my dear students, so with this I conclude the first part of the your lecture. We will be continuing the next part, so go through it. I am also sending one assignment for you people, so that it is easy for you to learn and understand. Just go through it and kindly just complete the assignment and submit it. I'll just give you. Thank you so much. We will continue in the next session. Bye. Take care. Stay safe. Stay home.